In the heart of the lush, sprawling lands of Mamba village, where the baobab trees stretched their mighty arms to the sky and the songs of birds echoed through the early morning mist, a special event was about to unfold. The village was buzzing with excitement because Amina, a young and hopeful mother, was about to give birth to triplets, a rare blessing believed to be touched by the gods. The women of the village gathered around the small hut, whispering ancient blessings passed down from their ancestors. They spoke of the legend that triplets born under the full moon were destined for greatness, but also warned of the dangers that came with such gifts. Amina's husband, Kamau, stood tall with pride, his heart swelling with hope for the future. The entire village felt the joy, sharing in the anticipation. The midwife, an elderly woman named Mama Nia, soothed Amina's pains as she labored through the night, chanting protective spells softly to keep both mother and babies safe. When the first cries of the babies pierced the night air, a wave of relief and celebration swept through the village. 3 beautiful boys were born, each holding tightly to the next, their eyes wide and bright like stars. They named them Kito, Baraka, and Zuri, meaning precious, blessing, and beautiful. But as the moon faded and the dawn painted the sky in soft pastels, a shadow of worry crept over the village. In the early hours when the world was still wrapped in silence, one of the babies, Kito, was gone. Amina awoke to find his cradle empty, a single tuft of his soft hair lying where he should have been. Panic seized her heart and she screamed for help. The villagers gathered, fear gripping their souls. Many whispered of curses and spirits, saying that the gods might be angry or that dark forces had taken the child. Despite a thorough search through the village and nearby forests, Kito was nowhere to be found. The elders spoke solemnly about old tales of children taken by the spirits of the forest, never to be seen again. Amina's heart broke into 1,000 pieces. Though she tried to hide her pain for the sake of her other 2 sons, the loss was a wound that would never fully heal. Kamau grew silent, his once bright eyes dimmed by grief and guilt. As the days turned to weeks, strange things began to happen in Mamba village. Crops withered overnight, animals disappeared, and an eerie silence settled where laughter once lived. The villagers grew restless and fearful, some blaming Amina for angering the spirits by having triplets. Yet, deep within her sorrow, Amina held on to hope that her lost son was still alive somewhere, a hope that would set the stage for a journey none could have predicted. The weeks following Kito's disappearance weighed heavily on Amina's heart like a dark storm cloud. Each morning, she woke hoping it was all a nightmare, but the empty cradle and silent nights reminded her otherwise. The village's whispers only made her burden heavier. Some called her cursed, others pitied her quietly, but none could fully understand the depth of her sorrow. Amina's days became a blur of tending to her 2 remaining sons, Baraka and Zuri, and trying to keep the house standing strong. Her hands, once steady and full of hope, trembled as she prepared food, wove baskets, and worked the small plot of land outside their hut. She hid her pain from her children, determined that they would not grow up in fear or sadness. "Your brother is brave and strong," she told them often, "and one day he will come back to us." But within the walls of her hut, Amina carried a secret, one she dared not share with anyone, not even Kamau. Late at night, when the village was swallowed by darkness, she would sit by the fire and whisper ancient prayers taught to her by Mama Nia. She believed that powerful forces were at work, forces that even the village elders did not fully understand. Jabari, the village magician, was a figure of both fear and respect. He appeared suddenly, cloaked in robes that shimmered like the night sky, his eyes sharp and full of mystery. He spoke in riddles about curses and blessings, about the delicate balance between the seen and unseen worlds. "You must be strong, Amina," he told her once, his voice low and urgent. "The child taken is not lost, but caught between worlds. He carries a power greater than you can imagine. The spirits watch over him, but so do the shadows." Amina's heart clenched. Could this be true? Could Quito be more than just her lost son? She dared to hope, but fear gnawed at her every step. Kamau, meanwhile, grew distant. The silence between them stretched like a chasm, filled with unspoken pain and blame. He worked harder in the fields, trying to drown his sorrow in sweat and toil. The village's judgment weighed on him, too, but he never stopped loving Amina or his children. The village, once vibrant with laughter and song, became shadowed by doubt and fear. Children were warned not to wander too far. Elders spoke in hushed tones about curses, and even the sun seemed to shine less brightly over Mamba. But in the midst of this darkness, a faint light glimmered, a promise that the lost child's story was far from over, and that destiny was weaving a tale that would change the village forever. Several months had passed since Quito's disappearance, and life in Mamba village had grown heavier with each passing day. The crops still struggled to grow, and a thick unease settled over the villagers like a dark fog. But one evening, just as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with streaks of orange and purple, a stranger arrived at the village gates. His name was Jabari, the village magician, but tonight he carried with him more than his usual mysterious aura. Wrapped in a deep indigo cloak embroidered with ancient symbols, he walked with a steady purpose that silenced the murmurs of the curious villagers. Jabari called a gathering in the village square, where the flickering fires cast long shadows on the faces of the anxious crowd. He spoke in a voice both calm and commanding, sharing an ancient prophecy that had been whispered through generations. A child born under the silver moon, touched by the spirits of the forest, shall one day rise to break the curse that binds this land. Though lost to the shadows, his light will shine brighter than the stars, restoring balance and peace to Mamba village. The villagers listened, some with hope, others with doubt, but none could deny the weight of Jabari's words. Among the crowd, a young boy named Quito lived on the edge of the village in a small, humble hut with no memory of his past. He had been raised by a kind old woman, who found him as a baby deep in the forest. Quito was different from the other children. His eyes sparkled with an unusual light, and sometimes he would dream of voices calling him from beyond the trees. That night, as Quito lay beneath the thatched roof of his hut, he dreamed vividly of the baobab trees glowing and a deep voice urging him to seek the truth about himself. When he woke, a strange feeling stirred inside him, a mixture of fear and purpose. The next morning, Jabari sought out Quito, revealing fragments of the prophecy and hinting at the boy's true identity. Quito struggled to believe that he was the lost child of Mamba village, but the magician's words planted a seed of hope and curiosity. "Your journey will be difficult," Jabari warned, "filled with trials that will test your courage, wisdom, and heart. But you must face them to save your home and your family." Quito, torn between fear and determination, made a silent promise to himself. He would uncover the truth, no matter the cost. The morning sun filtered through the thick canopy of the forbidden forest, casting dancing shadows on the mossy ground. Quito, guided by Jabari's words, stood at the forest's edge, his heart pounding with a mixture of fear and excitement. The villagers had always spoken of this forest with dread, a place where spirits dwelled and ancient magic lingered, testing those who dared to enter. Jabari handed Quito a small, intricately carved talisman. "This will protect you," he said. "But remember, the greatest strength lies not in magic, but in your heart." Taking a deep breath, Quito stepped into the forest. The air was thick with the scent of earth and mystery. Birds sang songs unfamiliar to him, and shadows seemed to whisper secrets just beyond his sight. Suddenly, a figure emerged from behind a giant tree. a woman dressed in flowing robes woven with leaves and vines. Her eyes glowed softly, reflecting the forest's ancient wisdom. She was Mama Zuri, the guardian of the forest, a spirit said to test the courage and purity of those who sought the forest's secrets. "You seek the truth about who you are," she said gently, her voice like the rustle of leaves. "But to walk this path, you must face the first trial." Quito nodded, though his hands trembled. Mama Zuri raised her hand, and the forest around them shifted. Suddenly, Quito found himself standing before a massive stone door covered in glowing runes. "Inside lies a mirror," she explained. "It will show you your deepest fears. You must confront them to pass." Quito stepped forward, heart racing. As he looked into the mirror, he saw visions of losing his family forever, of darkness swallowing the village, and of himself alone and powerless. Tears streamed down his face, but he forced himself to stand tall. "I am not afraid," he whispered. "I will protect my family and my village." The mirror shattered, and light poured through the broken shards. Mama Zuri smiled. "You have passed the trial, but many more await." With renewed determination, Quito continued deeper into the forest, unaware that shadows lurked, watching his every move, waiting for the moment to strike. As Quito ventured deeper into the forbidden forest, a heavy silence wrapped around him like a thick cloak. The trees whispered ancient secrets, and the ground beneath his feet seemed to pulse with unseen power. Every step felt heavier, as if the forest itself tested his resolve. Suddenly, a chilling wind swept through the branches, carrying a faint, haunting melody. From the shadows emerged a tall figure draped in dark robes, the Shadow Walker, a mysterious being said to control the unseen forces that haunt the forest. "You seek to claim a destiny not meant for the lost," the Shadow Walker's voice echoed, both threatening and strangely sorrowful. "But beware, for every light casts a shadow, and not all shadows are enemies." Quito's grip tightened around the talisman Jabari gave him. "I seek only to save my family and village," he replied bravely. The Shadow Walker's eyes softened. "Then listen well. To succeed, you must form an alliance with one who walks between worlds, one neither fully light nor dark." Before Quito could respond, a figure stepped forward, a young woman with eyes like burning embers and hair that shimmered with the colors of the forest. She introduced herself as Nia, the Spirit Weaver, a guardian of ancient magic and keeper of forgotten tales. Nua's presence was both comforting and unsettling. Though her powers were formidable, her past was shrouded in mystery. She warned Quito that the path ahead was fraught with deception and betrayal. Together, they would face trials that would challenge their trust, courage, and hearts. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Quito realized his journey was no longer his alone. With Nia by his side, the fate of Mamba village rested on the strength of their newfound alliance and the secrets hidden within the shadows. The moon hung high over the forest, casting a silvery glow that danced upon the surface of the crystal lake. Quito and Nia stood at its edge, the air thick with anticipation, and a quiet magic that made their skin tingle. "This lake holds the memories of the past," Nia whispered, her voice soft as the night breeze. "Only by looking into its depths can you uncover the truth about who you are." Quito knelt and peered into the shimmering water. Slowly, images began to ripple across the surface. Scenes of a family torn apart, a child stolen by dark forces, and a hidden power waiting to be awakened. Suddenly, the water darkened, and a shadowy figure appeared. The very same Shadow Walker from the forest. But this time, his face was clearer. A man with sorrowful eyes and a secret that shook Quito to his core. "You carry more than the blood of Mamba village," the Shadow Walker said. "You are part of a prophecy that could change the fate of the entire land. But to embrace your destiny, you must forgive those who wronged you. even if it means facing the greatest betrayal of all. Quito's mind raced. Could the Shadow Walker be someone from his lost past? Was the secret tied to his family's disappearance? Nya placed a steady hand on his shoulder. The path is never easy, but you must trust your heart. As dawn approached, Quito felt a fire ignite within him, a determination to face whatever truths awaited, to heal old wounds, and to bring light back to Mamba Village. Little did he know, the greatest twist was yet to come, one that would change everything he believed about his family, his past, and his future. The sun blazed down as Quito and Nya approached the ancient ruins hidden deep within the forest, the place where the past and present intertwined, and the final pieces of the puzzle awaited. Inside the crumbling temple, walls etched with glowing symbols told stories of old battles, lost kings, and magical curses. But at the heart of the ruins stood a magnificent mirror framed with gold and emeralds, the mirror of truth. Jabari's voice echoed in Quito's mind. "Look deeply, and you will see the truth no one else can." With trembling hands, Quito stepped before the mirror. His reflection shimmered and shifted, revealing a breathtaking truth. He was the long-lost son of the village chief and a powerful forest spirit, a child born of both human and magical blood. Tears filled his eyes as memories flooded back. The night he was taken to protect him from enemies, the old woman who raised him, and the magical bond that connected him to the forest. But the final twist came when Nya revealed her own secret. She was not just a guardian of magic, but Quito's sister, hidden away to protect her from the same dark forces that threatened their family. Together, they had been brought back to fulfill the prophecy, to heal the village, break the curse, and restore peace. The villagers, led by Jabari, gathered outside as Quito and Nya emerged from the ruins. The sky seemed to brighten, the heavy darkness lifting at last. Quito raised his talisman high, its light shining brilliantly. "We are home," he declared, "and together we will protect Mamba Village, now and forever." A cheer erupted through the village as hope and magic were reborn. The curse was broken, and the legacy of the lost children became a story of courage, family, and the power of love.